What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Contractor Secrets Podcast. In today's episode, I sit down with Kurt. He is a veteran house painter, business owner, wanting to expand, but for good reason. I love this episode because the intent can definitely drive the uncomfortability needed to get to the next level. So, with that said, tune in. Awesome episode. Thank you guys for listening. Starts right now.
Contractors all over the world are wanting more time, more freedom, more impact. The way we do this is through implementing systems, processes, standards. Welcome to the Contractor Secrets Podcast. Here we hit business strategy, coaching, mindset, motivation, the tools you need for success. So strap in, listen up, and get ready to grow on the Contractor Secrets Podcast. Welcome, everybody, to the Contractor Secrets Podcast. I'm here with Kurt, Hess, and we're here with the Business Breakthrough, man. So tell us, tell me, what would you call the meeting for? Where's the business at? And tell me an area that you're wanting to zero in on today.
Yeah, so the business I started in 2016. I've essentially had flat income of, 240,000, something like that.
Okay.
Since that period of time, I currently have two really good employees that I've had for one of them 4 years, one of them 3 years.
Yeah.
Salt of the earth kind of people, great people.
Sure. Guys you can count on. Love it.
What's that?
People you can count on.
Oh yeah. I can count on good painters. Trained the one lady from apprentice up to where she is now. She's a great painter. So I guess my challenges are that, well, I mean, really, it's financial. I need to make more money. I'm making what pays the bills right now. I'm 57. I probably have a good 13 years in me. Of working. I have been working almost every day. I don't want to not work at all with a brush. But I think it's necessary to cut back some.
Sure. And how long have you been doing this?
Gosh, I've been painting my whole life on and off since I was 8, but most recently 7 years.
Let me ask you this: what's your motivation to grow?
My motivation to grow is financial. I'd rather not grow. I mean, it's easier on me, right? But in order to grow my net income,
can you give me something more intrinsic than just the finances in terms of motivation?
Oh, okay. So why I'm in painting is I love painting, and like I said, I've done it my whole life. Why do I need to increase the income? I could say it's to provide as many paint jobs, excellent quality paint jobs as I can. But I think the bottom line, other than me needing to pay my bills, is probably more important are those two people.
That's what I was waiting for.
That I mentioned.
Okay. I was making sure.
They support me, and
and it's for them. Good. All right. Good. Because I can work with that. I can work with that. You're going to need that as your motivator, because I think I'm the same way, man. I don't really need to grow, but like I'm going to, because I want the people who have been with me to be able to grow, and I don't want to lose them. Right. I think we have to understand that people have options, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So this is good, man. And this is pivotal. So you have two really good people that work with you. I guess the first aspect is if I were to audit your business, I'm going to make a few assumptions, and then you tell me if I'm correct. So the first thing is 99.9% of your business comes from word of mouth. Yes.
Correct.
Okay. And it's been like that for years, hasn't it?
Correct.
Okay. Number two, you met these two individuals either through a friend or through a colleague.
Yep. Through his ex-wife and her mom.
Perfect. Okay. So how do we grow a business? Two ways: more people. And those people are in two categories: customers and employees. Okay.
Right.
How do we get more people? We have to have a strategy, because both of your strategies are passive strategies. In other words, you did nothing other than simply wait for the result you got. You got extremely lucky.
You had two really good guys that found their way to your business, and you're finding customers that are finding their way to your business, and it's sustaining you. Okay.
Right.
How far out are you booked?
If I work, about 5 weeks, and if I don't, about 7.
Okay. So you're about
I should
7
mention
weeks.
I have 3 Tanner. I just have 2 that have been with
Two
me
that
a
are the
long
people
time.
that are, yes, foundational people. Good.
Yeah.
Still, that's 3. Same thing with the third person. You didn't seek this individual. They were referred to you, or they found you in some way. Yes.
Yes, correct.
Okay. So the first thing is that I would identify first a strategy on how to acquire strangers. Okay. People that are in the world that you will interact with and eventually have an employment agreement about. And I think that's really, really important, because the problem that you could run into is that maybe you do some marketing, which we'll talk about, and you invest in marketing, everything works out, but on the team side, you're having trouble fulfilling the demand, right?
Correct.
And then on the marketing side, you might have a really good marketing system in place. But again, or on the flip side, you might have a really good team in place, but in terms of the marketing, you don't have enough marketing. And that's usually where we bottom out. Okay.
Right. And I've got 0 marketing.
I understand that 100%. And I think you're growing so slow, and these people that you've added almost had to be added because your demand for your business organically has forced that, right? Because if you were just painting by yourself, you're like, hey, I'm getting more phone calls than I can handle here. Let me get someone, right? So you did good. Now it's time to really just be proactive, because you know that growth is going to come. If you did exactly what you're doing for 10 more years, you would probably find yourself with 2 crews in 10 years because of, again, if the phone keeps ringing left and right, you'll find a way to get the people to work for you, right?
Right.
We just don't want to wait 10 years for that to happen. We could do it this year, and it really just requires injecting resources into marketing, and then of course having a system for hiring. So have you ever formally hired an individual? That means putting out an ad. That means conducting interviews. That means creating a system for hiring. Have you ever done that in any capacity?
In any capacity? Yeah, I've managed other small to mid-sized businesses.
Okay.
Most recently, when I did advertise for help, it was Craigslist.
Okay, good. So Craigslist is good. Indeed is good. So what we want to look at, in the same way that I always tell people, hey, you want to market even when you don't think you need marketing. You want to be hiring now, even though you might not think you need it. The interesting thing is that I found that there's this, usually a filtering out process that needs to occur with hiring, especially I can catch your demeanor. You guys are probably a really tight knit team. It'd probably be very hard for somebody who doesn't align with your standards to last in your business. So we want to make sure that we have a filtering out process that aligns with that.
I've let go an awful lot of people over the 6
I'm sure everyone, I think, has, man. It's, but that's part of it. But but again, we can prevent that from happening with a really good filtering out hiring process, right? I mean, instead of dealing with that at the time, we're going to limit that, because your time is the most valuable thing. So number one, we got to figure out what we're trying to achieve here. Are we trying to scale out and hire subcontractors? Or are you more the type of person that likes to have that team, those employees? What is your preference?
In terms of fun and enjoyment, I love having a team. I think I would be I'm driven. I offer too much quality sometimes myself.
Okay.
And if I had subcontractor crews, I'd lose it. I'd lose my mind within 2 months.
Me too.
Everything's got to be employees.
So you're a team guy, just like me. Okay. So in order to create a team, we first need to identify the roles within that team. Okay. So you have 3 guys right now. Who is in charge?
Who is in charge? If I'm not there, I have a guy that acts as supervisor. His name's Derek.
Okay.
He's been with me for, I think 4 years.
Okay. So how often are you there?
I am there 70% of the time, 75% of the time.
All right. So my question is, why?
Yeah, why? Because I mean,
because you love, is it because you love painting, or is it because you feel like you need to be there?
I love painting. And financially, where I am right now, I have to paint if I don't make changes. So, like in December, I'll paint 50% of the time. I make sure they get fed. January, same thing. And then I start working more and more as it gets busier. I don't have to work. Financially, I have to work.
Well, you
But
have a
I don't
team,
have-
right? Couldn't your team just produce the work for
Yes.
you? And
Yes.
okay. So here's another thing that you might be thinking about is if you're not painting, then what are you doing?
Yeah.
Right? Have you ever had that thought? Well, I got nothing to do today. I should probably go to the job, right?
Yeah.
If you don't have a bunch of estimates, it's like, what do I do? So understand this: growth could and is going to be prohibited by your love for the trade. Just making that clear.
Right.
So there's going to have to be a time where you detach your emotional attachment to the trade. Right. And I know that might sound silly, but it's true, because if you love what you're doing,
what you're saying.
Yeah, you understand what I'm saying. So here's the reason why, though, because the I guess I'm going to say the principle of duplication is what you need to do. You need to duplicate your processes. That's growth. That's just doing the same thing at scale. Right. Is someone has to be in charge. So how long has Derek been with you?
I think 4 years.
So he's been there for 4 years. Okay. Yeah. And I would assume that if you've had someone around you for 4 years and you guys have seen a lot of jobs in that time, that Derek probably knows what the heck he's doing.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
So unless you've officially assigned him the role of project manager and said, Derek, you are now the project manager, what you're really doing is you're kind of prohibiting his ability to get better at being a project manager, because he knows every time that you pull up in that driveway, he now has to sit back and you're now in charge. You deal with the customer and he has to go back to doing what he's doing.
Right.
Now, is he the type of person that you feel as though if you gave him the role of project manager, he would take it and run with it?
If by project manager you mean supervisor of
let's call it supervisor
crew.
of a, I like supervisor as the next level, which that's going to be your new role. I'm talking about project manager. He's managing just that project. So we're going to use that. We're going to use that title.
Yeah, okay. He does. He could be a little more organized, but he does a really good job.
Okay. So there's his coaching that's going to happen naturally, right? A little more organized. But remember, every time that you come to the job, he now has to take a back seat. And those two other people that are working alongside him, then when you're on the job, they go to you for information, right? And then when he's on the job, they go to him, but then he says, hold on, let me ask. Right. And that's because you haven't established ultimately those parameters of who's in charge, you know? And I think that's important if you want to grow, because if you can't do that now, you're not going to be able to do it with a brand new crew, because at that point, you're going to be at the job 90% of the time.
Yeah.
Okay. So we need to make sure that this first crew is independent before you decide to do something with another crew. Now, I can promise you that you have two amazing individuals, each one of them needs to run a crew, right? That's how you're going to grow. That is, you have a golden ticket to get a second crew up and running because you have two managers. Okay. You need to let Derek start managing so he can practice. So then the second guy who's next in line, who would you agree would be a good manager for the second crew?
She's young, and has a lot of responsibilities outside of work. Could she become one, or could I bring her into one? Yeah, maybe in a couple more years.
Okay, so she's not going to be our fit for the next crew leader, which is fine, right? If you do decide to expand, you can run the second crew just to get it up and running, okay? Right? And then replace yourself. So that's a thought too. It's just, hey, this puzzle that we're playing is all about how we move people around and how we put people in charge. Okay. So my suggestion to you, number one, stop painting. You're not helping the business. If your goal is to grow, which now it is, you said it, stop painting. You don't need to be there. Okay. Next thing is you need to train your team to be able to reach out to you and ask you questions and then turn around and not give them the answer. Have them figure it out. How hard is that going to be?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard.
It's hard. It's hard. I know. And then I think the first thing, instead of giving the answer, say, well, what would you do in this situation? You need to train that muscle within your organization, because what will happen is if they feel as though they cannot make mistakes, because I know you're a perfectionist,
Yeah.
And you're probably really good at what you do. I'm not saying you're not, but if they can't make mistakes, okay, then you don't have people that are going to go above and beyond for your customers when you're not there. They're going to do the bare minimum because why? They're afraid to make mistakes.
Yeah.
We don't want that.
And I'm probably a bit hard on them when mistakes are made.
Okay, good. Good self-reflection there. Let mistakes go, especially when you give someone a new role. Hey, you know what? You probably could have done this differently this time around. Let's make it better the next time. Right. Because these individuals maybe have never managed before.
No, I don't
so
think they have.
That's a different mindset that someone just goes in and has to paint what they're told to paint. Instead, now they have to not only paint what they're told to paint, but then they have to manage what everyone else is doing and keep a time frame and then respond to you. It's not easy. Okay.
Right.
So do you like this advice? Is this in alignment with what you were hoping to hear?
Yeah. In addition, and I've watched 65 or listened to 65 of your podcasts. So
thank you.
I've got a good, yeah, I love them. I've got a good idea of the advice well, obviously the advice you've given other people.
Sure.
I guess, when I listen to it, and a lot of it is marketing, balls to the walls, get going. I'm kind of conservative, and if I went that fast, I would get really stressed out. There would be,
I'm not telling you. I haven't even mentioned that yet. We need I know, but everyone's different, right? And I'm not going to say that there's blanket advice for everyone. I'm saying this. I know your type. Okay.
Right.
And I know that number one, you are the business.
Yeah,
growth
definitely.
and you are going to be enemies unless you understand that you have to detach and risk your reputation to do it. You can be there, but you have to be hands off.
Right.
If I were you, I'd leave your brush at home. And I'm telling you this in a way to help you understand that you are not going to get to 2 crews until you can have one that runs without you.
Right.
And what are you supposed to be doing? It is. I mean, that's just the honest truth. And if you're 6 weeks out, honestly, right now, you could have a second crew running and operating. You're just making your customers wait 6 weeks.
Right. So in line with that, and if I'm quote unquote a crew leader for a second crew, would I try and do it more from a supervisor visiting the job, or get the brush back out for the second crew?
You're acting in a role of a crew leader. That's the goal here. If you were just starting your business, which at one point you did, you were the project manager on site. And then you decided to bring someone in and he was the crew leader. And then you brought another person in who's just a painter, right? So that person, Derek, if you believe that he deserves a new title and a raise and a sit down talk, you need to be teaching him everything you know about project management.
Right.
So when you're not there, he can make decisions on your behalf. And then if he needs you, he'll call you. But there'll be a good feeling. And let me ask this. I have to know, has he ever finished a job from start to finish without you doing anything?
Yes.
How often?
I don't know, 1 1/4. He's heavily involved. There are times when I've just
so you were busy and hey man, I need you to, okay, now it just needs to happen.
Right.
Because by you going to the job, you are not making any more money.
Right.
I mean, yeah, the jobs get finished a little quicker, but your team's productivity goes down.
Yeah. You're probably right.
Productivity goes down. You're doing all the hard stuff.
Yeah.
Right. And we're not able to coach, so again, I would challenge you for the next 30 days. Let Derek run all the jobs.
Okay.
Let him run the jobs. First, it starts with a formal meeting he deserves. It's been 4 years.
Right.
And I think this is a great opportunity for you to get someone excited and also show that you're investing in them. More money, right? Does he have a company vehicle?
He drives the van and I just drive a Durango.
He's got the van. So good. He's a project manager without the title. And then again, your goal going forward after, within that 30 days is to start thinking about what 2 crews would look like. Who's going to manage it? Who's going to be a part of it? Right. And that's the second thing. When you get to 2 crews in this business, I think you'd be very happy with the income. And then you might say, well, where's the marketing coming? Well, listen, man, you did a phenomenal job. Your organic referral word of mouth has generated you enough to generate $250,000 a year in sales. Incredible.
You know, that's your baseline. That's impressive. Okay. So
Thank you.
all you need is a marketing channel that generates you the same amount of leads that you're getting from word of mouth, which isn't very much, maybe 20 a month, maybe. And you're selling them maybe at a 25 to 35% closing rate. You're doing about 5 to 8 jobs a month, right? On average, give or take.
Yeah, I would say about 5 jobs.
So that's not balls to the wall marketing. That's slow organic growth.
But zero marketing, man.
Right.
Zero.
So if we don't do any marketing, we're not going to get any, you're going to go very slow. Your line will be really slow like this, but we just want to get a spike going. So you have a little more confidence in your hiring. That's all. But I don't think that needs to happen right away. I think the first step for you, if I, being someone that's giving you some advice, is to break away first for 30 days and see how you like it.
Okay.
Because if you can't do that, 2 crews is pointless. You'll just be back in there. You need systems in place.
Okay.
What do you think?
Yeah, sounds like a plan.
And then when you're done that, come back and we'll talk marketing.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Any other pressing questions?
I know I need Dripjobs.
That you do. I will say that's a must. We'll get you set up for a demo so you can see it.
Okay.
What are you using right now? How are you sending your proposals and
everything's email.
Okay.
To the extent I have to quote, half of these clients are just.
Do you honestly feel unorganized?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to help you with that. So
even if I got, from watching your 65 podcasts, even if I just got it for one job to follow up with for someone that I didn't know, for something that came through a Google,
customer a long time ago.
Dripjobs.
So imagine if you had all of your customers from the last 5 years stored in the system, and you can send them an email saying, "Merry Christmas. Hey, do you want a painting estimate?" Okay. And that's what we want to build right now. So I'll send you a link. You can book a demo with Dominic. He's my sales guy. So you can tell me how good he does.
Okay. All right.
And then we'll get you going. I think it'll help. That's a really good catalyst for growth, is having a good system in place for managing your customers. Okay. And then the last part, I guess I'll mention, you probably heard me say this word a lot, Gusto. Have you signed up for Gusto?
No, but I know I need that as well.
Okay. So in 30 days, I'd love for you to come back. You're going to have Dripjobs up and running. You're going to have Gusto in place, so your guys have something solid in terms of payroll. And my vision for you, man, listen, you know what? You might say you don't want to grow, but one day you might grow this business to have 4 or 5 crews, and you might be in a position where an investor comes and gives you a really nice retirement check for your business. Okay. There's no harm in that, right? Grow it, have fun with it, and that possibility is there. So come back in 30 days, man. Love to hear how you progressed.
Hey, I really appreciate it.
My pleasure, man.
You
Good luck to you.
A lot for all of us painters and business owners out here.
Hey, man, that's what I love to do. So it's easy.
Well, you're great at it. Thank you.
Thank you, buddy.
All right,
see you.
What's up, guys? Thanks so much for listening to that awesome business breakthrough. I hope you got a lot out of it. So next up is a pro spotlight. We have Mark Bradford. He is a pro Dripjobs user, crushing it. Now, what's cool about Mark is that he was one of the people that was like literally on the fence. I couldn't get him to budge. I think he signed up one time and then didn't really use it, canceled, and then came back, and then he used it and he loves it now. So this was awesome to get him on to share what Dripjobs are doing for him. And hopefully, if you're on the fence, maybe you could see what Dripjobs can do for you. What's up, everyone? I'm here with Mark Bradford. Okay, first of all, let me start with this. You were one of the most skeptical people to ever use Dripjobs. What's changed, man? Do you like it? Was it worth it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the biggest thing is like the return on investment is like instant. As soon as you integrate it with, the stuff that you already have in place. I linked it with my website, with my get a request a quote button.
Yeah.
And it's just every phone call that I get for, customers requesting an estimate. I just redirect them to the website, and Dripjobs takes over from there.
Love it.
So yeah, it's definitely been a game changer. I'm still learning some of the aspects of it. And I think it's great that there's new and updated features coming in all the time. So I'm definitely excited for the Google Calendar when that comes.
Oh yeah.
It's definitely made a huge difference.
Good.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that was one of the things, is because you and I had spoke before and you weren't sure if, because sometimes it might feel like Dripjobs is too big, right? Because I know that you kind of do your own thing. Are you still, solo?
Well, I do have a couple full-time guys and a part-time guy.
Okay.
So,
Oh, cool. All right.
we're definitely growing. Um, so we want to use, whatever's appropriate as we grow. And I think
Yeah.
that,
Grow into
Drip
it.
Jobs,
Right.
yeah, absolutely. So there's still some features of Drip Jobs that I don't utilize yet, but that's just because I need to take the time to really fine tune them and tweak them.
Absolutely.
So I still use every part of it. It's just there's some parts of my old estimating process that work in tandem.
Yep.
So eventually we'll be merging that.
Great.
Like I said, it's just it's a fine tuning process.
So a couple things. You mentioned the booking link, and I just want to make sure you know this. I know you're directing people to go to your website, but we added a button on the bottom menu. It says new request. Have you seen that on the Dripjobs app?
That I don't know that I've seen that. No.
You got to check it out. So if
Okay.
someone calls you, you hit that button and you just punch in their phone number and it sends them the link. So you don't have to say, hey, go to the website. You just hit that button, put in their phone number, and then just like that, they get the link to fill out the form.
Oh, even better. Yeah.
So save a step there. So you've been using it now for, I think, 2 months. We reached out to you because you're killing it. Just curious in terms of you've been sending proposals. Have people been responding to the automated messages?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, getting onto the Drip Jobs drips and getting to scheduling has been very quick. Honestly, most of the responses that I've been getting through the automated responses have been like just
After you
because
send the proposal, mostly?
after I send the
Right.
proposal, and so I've gotten maybe one or two where they were kind of on the fence, and the automated email helped sway them over to the side.
Yeah.
So,
Good.
but for the most part, it's a lot of them have been just I go out, do the estimate, and they want to get on the schedule within the next couple days. So,
Huge, man.
yeah, absolutely.
So overall, would you say, I mean, it's pretty easy, software can be pretty crazy. I mean, one of our focuses as a company is to like try to make it as simple as possible for you to get in, do what you need to do and get out. Do you feel as though like, it's pretty easy to navigate and use?
I think once you spend a good day and a half with it, you can jump right in as long as you're, somewhat computer savvy. Absolutely. Yeah.
Love it,
So
man.
it's getting more user friendly, I feel like.
Yeah. Did you
from the
notice we
start.
started putting the lead sources there on the
Yeah.
on the deal cards?
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. It's
I
just
like
being
that.
able to see where people come from, right?
Yeah, and the customers have been using it too. It's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. Well, we force them to on that form.
I
Yeah.
wondered because it just started all of a sudden. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
word of mouth, cool.
Yeah. Word of mouth.
Okay.
And you know what? Generally, people are really honest on there, which is cool. It's not like, they just like pick whichever one. Cause I'll kind of follow up. Sometimes like, how'd you hear about us? Just to see if they lied. It's like, all right, that matches with what you put. It's like, I got data that I need to look at, lady. So make sure you're correct here.
Right.
No, that's
Exactly.
awesome, man. So just last thing, man, I always like to end with this on one of these is you were on the fence more than, like I said, anyone. I think you tried it and then you didn't use it. And then I think Mike gave you a kick in the butt. And I was like, dude, give it a try. We sat down. If you could talk to somebody that's on the fence, maybe just doesn't have a good system or has their own system and they're thinking about Dripjobs, what's one thing you would say to them, to sway them?
I would say, I mean, you're not locked in, and it, like I said before, the return on investment's immediate. If you can present yourself well to the customer, Dripjobs will do the rest.
Boom.
That's it.
Keep
it simple. Mm-hmm.
Keep it simple. Mark, you're the man. Continued success for you, my friend. I see that you're growing, and I think it's only up from here. I appreciate your time, man. This was 100%
Absolutely.
voluntary on your part, bro, and it means a lot.
Yep.
You took time out of your day to do it. So thanks, man.
Thanks a lot, Tanner.